Hello everyone. I hope that you must be fine there and must be enjoying learning chemical reaction equilibrium. Today we are going to discuss few more concepts related with the reaction equilibrium. But before proceeding for part 2, let me recapitulate the concepts which we have learned in the first part. So in first part of chemical reaction equilibrium, we have learned two concepts. Firstly, we have learned what is all about the equilibrium mean, and the second part we have learned we have established some criteria for chemical equilibrium. At the same time, we have learned that if we want to utilize any chemical reaction for commercial purpose or for industrial application, we should focus at least on these three parameters, that is feasibility, speed and yield. So we have also concluded that the thermodynamics can help us to find out the feasibility of a reaction as well as the yield. But thermodynamics is unable to give idea about the kinetics of a reaction. So we have also concluded that the focus of chemical equilibrium would be the analysis or calculation related to, so that we can find out the equilibrium conversion, as well as we will also learn what is the effect of different factors like pressure, temperature, concentration, etc. on equilibrium. So there are two aspects of chemical equilibrium. First is to calculate equilibrium conversion, and another one is to visualize the effect of different parameter on equilibrium. We also know that Lee-Chettle principle, which is a qualitative interpretation of equilibrium, is not sufficient. So we need to develop some equation that will give a deeper insight and that will enable us to find out the quantitative interpretation about the chemical equilibrium. So in the subsequent topics of this chapter, we will learn some quantitative analysis on chemical equilibrium. Apart from this, we have learned that there may be some conflicting situation where the kinetics, the effect of some variable, say temperature in this case, may be conflicting with the kinetics and chemical equilibrium. So we need to find out an optimum value, that is a sort of, we need to make a trade-off between kinetics and equilibrium conversion. We have also learned that the reaction proceeds towards lesser value of chemical potential, mu. By mistake, I have put a wrong sign here. So please correct it. I am sorry. The chemical potential of graphite should be less than the chemical potential of diamond. Also, we have learned that chemical potential is central to chemistry. That means with the help of chemical potential, we can discuss many concepts, we can understand many concepts of thermodynamics. So it is a chemical potential is a central to chemistry. We will also develop some relation using chemical potential and Gibbs function. Apart from this, we have established two criteria of chemical equilibrium. First was based on the entropy. So we have concluded that a constant internal energy and constant volume process must be such that ds at constant u and v should be greater than or equal to 0. That is, for a constant internal energy and constant volume process, a process at constant internal energy and constant volume can occur only in the direction of increase in entropy. So you can see from here, from this curve, that entropy approaches maximum as a state of equilibrium is achieved. Similarly, we have also developed a criteria based on the Gibbs function, criteria of chemical equilibrium based on the Gibbs function, because this criteria is widely used, and we have arrived at the conclusion that for constant temperature and pressure process, the dg at constant Tp should be less than or equal to 0. That is, the equilibrium will proceed toward lesser value of Gibbs free energy. So you can see from here. So these were some learnings from the first part of the chemical reaction equilibrium. Now we will move to the chemical reaction equilibrium part 2. So as you can see, just wait for a minute. Okay. So in part 2, we are going to learn these two concepts. The first one is chemical potential and equilibrium. So we will try to learn how the chemical potential is connected with equilibrium, and we will also learn the equation of reaction equilibrium. That is, what are the different equations that can be written for reaction equilibrium and how they can be written. Now I am going to discuss the first concept, that is chemical potential and equilibrium. So as I told you that this chemical potential is central to the chemistry, we will see in subsequent discussions that how important this chemical potential is for understanding of thermodynamic concepts. Now, noting that any extensive property of a single phase, single component system, we all know this, the phase rule, that is degree of freedom equals to C minus P plus 2, that is component phase, So for single component system and single phase system, the degree of freedom would be 2. So for considering any extensive property, say Gibbs free energy of a single phase, single component system, it would be a function of two independent variables, as can be calculated from phase rule, and the size of the system. So I repeat, any extensive property of a single phase, single component system is a function of two independent variables or properties and the size of the system. because it's extensive property. So in this case, consider Gibbs free energy is our extensive property. Then setting temperature and pressure as a function of temperature and pressure as independent function in this case, and N, that is number of moles, as the measure of size. So considering temperature and pressure as an independent function and N, that is number of moles, as a size, then the Gibbs function can be expressed in the form of now. This is for single component system. Now if we go for single phase multi-component system, then this is the multi-component system, then the F will be higher. Okay, so considering G as a function of temperature, pressure, and N1, N2, so on, Nj, that is, it is a multi-component mixture. So with the help of differentiation and chain rule, one can establish that Gibbs function can be expressed as sigma I equal to 1 to j Ni del G upon del Ni at constant T, P, and J. So please note that this Nj denotes that all N except Ni are held constant during differentiation. I repeat, Nj denotes that all N except Ni are held constant during differentiation. Sometimes it is also written as Nj not equals to I, that is all N except I. So this equation, I am not going for detailed derivation because we have already developed this equation in our previous lectures, and we just wanted to use this equation, so we are not deriving here. But this is a very, very important reaction, particularly in the study of chemical and phase equilibria. So this reaction is very important in the discussion of chemical and phase equilibria. Now we also know the chemical potential of component I can be expressed as del G upon del Ni at constant T, P, and J. So this is the standard definition of chemical potential. We also know mu is a intensive property. Thus, so this is also a very important expression. Now, using these two equations, we can see this particular thing is here. So from this equation we can write down G equals to sigma I equals to 1 to j Ni mu I. So we have this third important equation. Now if we differentiate Gibbs function, this equation, at constant temperature and pressure, so we will get dg equals to, that is at constant temperature and pressure of course, sigma I equals to 1 to j del g upon del I at constant temperature, pressure and Nj dni. Okay, from here dni. So this can be expressed as you can see, I equals to 1 to j sigma I equals to 1 to j mu I dni. So this is mu I dni. Since we have learned that the equilibrium criteria, that is dg at, just in our previous lecture we have learned that at equilibrium this is equals to 0. So putting this criteria here, we will get sigma I equals to n to j mu I dni equals to 0. So what we can see is, this is the criteria of chemical equilibrium in terms of chemical potential. So we are trying to connect the Gibbs free energy, chemical equilibrium and chemical potential. So this is the very important expression which connects the chemical equilibrium with chemical potential. So similar to the here I would like to mention few points. First is like this expression, which was the criteria, or which is the criteria for equilibrium in terms of Gibbs free energy. This expression and this expression are quite similar in sense that both equation provides a relation among properties of a system. I repeat, both the equation provides a relation among properties of a system when the system is at an equilibrium state at a particular temperature and pressure. So like this expression, this also applies to a particular state, and the manner in which that state is attained is not important. Okay, so, and the second point I would like to mention here is, let me use another paper. If you see from here, okay, from here we can do, for a single phase of a pure substance, single phase, this G would be n mu, or this mu equals to G upon N. So this you must remember. What is this? The chemical potential is nothing but it's Gibbs function per mole. I repeat, for single phase of pure substance of a pure for single phase of a pure substance, the chemical potential is Gibbs function per mole. So from here we can derive one important conclusion. Now we have covered the first part, that is chemical potential and equilibrium. So we have connected the chemical potential with the equilibrium and Gibbs function also. Now we will move to the second part of our today's lecture, that is equation of reaction equilibrium.